So you know that rotating square thing that's in my recent edit on Instagram? We're gonna be recreating that. So first what you're gonna do is have your picture and have it pre-composed. Then click on your pre-composed layer and duplicate it by holding Command D or Control D. Afterwards, you're gonna hide the layer under it and you're gonna focus on the top layer, this layer. Afterwards, you're going to want to go up to your pen tool and make a mask in the form of a diamond. Something like this. And you could fix it up. I'm gonna fix it up because I want it to look a certain way. So afterwards, you're going to want to arrow down on your picture layer, then arrow down on mask, then go down to mask 1 and move your time indicator to the end of the clip, then make a keyframe for mask path. Then move your time indicator to the middle of your clip or wherever you want it to start beginning to form into the mask. Click on anywhere here in the gray area, then click on the picture layer and then click on the mask. I'm gonna move these points. And there is another way to do this in case this one doesn't work how it's supposed to work. So you're gonna move these frames into a square. And as you can see, we have it. Click back on your selection tool, move this keyframe 2 frames back. After that, you're going to want to highlight the keyframes, right click on one of them, go to Keyframe Assistant and click Easy Ease. Afterwards, you go to the graph editor and go to your speed graph and you're going to want to edit exactly like mine's. Then afterwards, enable motion blur. So yeah, you have the first part of it. Now it's time to make the under part, which is the outline, the color outline. So what you want to do for that is that you want to duplicate this layer, pre-compose this layer. So then after you pre-compose it, go to your effects and look up fill. And you could put the colors to whatever you want. I want the color to match Nikki's hair color, so I'm going to make it pink. I'm going to drag my time indicator to the end of my clip and I'm going to scale it and fix it so that it looks like it's bigger than the mask. I'm going to play with my transform values to move it to where it looks like it's bigger than the mask. After you fix it up, go to the first layer, go to your effects and presets, and look up drop shadow. Put the distance at around 10, then put the softness at 7, then put the opacity at 41. And then enable the view on this one, copy the drop shadow from the first layer and copy it down onto the fill layer. There we go. So on the fill layer, further the distance by making the distance 14 and making the softness at around 20 and lowering the opacity to around 34. Now you have the first part of it. So now let's work on the background with the letters and the gray. So to work on that part, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to go to our texting tool, type in whatever we want to be in the background. So I'm just going to put her name, disable the view here and fix it. Then over here, go to the align window and align it so that fits perfectly in the middle and keep fixing it until it's perfectly in the middle. Then afterwards, pre-compose the text layer. And if you don't know the shortcuts, you could just regularly right click a layer and hit pre-compose. So then afterwards, you're going to want to open the pre-composed text layer, hold Command K. I think on Windows it's Control K. Move it over here, lower down the height. So then afterward, it should look something like this. Then you go to your effects and presets and look up motion tile and set the width to 540, then set the height to 540 as well. Then click on the pre-composed text layer and click S on your keyboard and then scale it down. Now, as you can see, it no longer extends to the top. And to fix that, all we have to do is extend the output height. Then afterward, enable this horizontal phase shift checkbox. And if we do that, the text moves like this. So you want to have your first keyframe for your phase at around 50 and move your keyframe to where the first keyframe of the mask starts. I'm going to do over here and set a keyframe for phase. Then go all the way to the end of your composition or wherever you want it to stop. And you're going to increase your phase. So then click U on your keyboard and you should see the keyframes here. Click P on your keyboard and make a keyframe for position. Then go to this icon and click on proportional grid. And you want to make sure it looks like as if they're going in different directions. So there's some sticking out on this end and some sticking out on this end. And that's going to be my first keyframe. As they're moving, go to the end of your clip and further move this in the direction where it's moving away from. Make sure it's even though, and keep playing it back until it's even. And it should look something like this. And after that, we're done with the text layer. So then afterwards, we can turn off proportional grid and we could hide the view of the text layer and we could work on the background. So now for the background, we need to go to our effects and presets and we're going to look up tint. Open the map Y2 box and we're going to bring this down. For this one, I'm going to add a little bit of color. So I'm going to do a little bit of hot pink. So I'm going to move it gradually over here. Go to your effects and presets and look up Gaussian Blur. I hope I'm saying this correctly. So add it to your clip and you're going to set the blurriness to around 50, or you could do 37. Enable the view of your text layer, pre-compose it by right-clicking it or using the shortcuts. Then go to your effects and presets and look up drop shadow. Then double click or drag it to your clip and put the distance to around 14. Or you can do 12, whichever one you're most comfortable with. And I'm going to set the softness to 5. Then I'm going to set the opacity to around 43. Then you want to go down to the bottom of your screen where it says toggle switches and modes. Then you're going to see this row where it says modes. You're going to go to the text layer where it says normal. You're going to go all the way down until it says overlay, and it should look something like this. So now back to the square mask. To add that little shine thing on my picture, you don't have to add it, but if you feel like doing it exactly like how I did in my edit, first turn off toggle switches and modes, pre-compose the very top layer, go to your effects and presets and look up CC light rays. Place it wherever you want. I'm going to do it along her hair strands. And I'm going to set the first movement keyframe over here. You're going to set a keyframe for the center. Move this dot to where you want it to stop. I want it to stop over here, so I'm going to move it here. Click on your keyboard and move your time indicator a few frames after the first frame of the center. To make a keyframe for intensity, click on the clip and click you or your keyboard again, and you should see the keyframe for the intensity. Then move your time indicator a few frames forward, but not entirely near to the other keyframe for center. And you're going to set a keyframe for intensity again. Go to the exact last keyframe of center, then set it to 0. And do the same for the first keyframe of center. So now you could play it, and if you feel like adding a graph, then you could add a graph. I'm going to shorten the intensity so that it's kind of a little bit subtle. And we have our little shine. After you add your shine, pre-compose both the top layer and the fill layer. And you could use the shortcuts, or you could right click the clip, duplicate it, and on the bottom layer, go to effects and presets and look up S_edge rays. And of course, this has to pop up. Anyways, move this circle to the middle of the square mask. And the outer circle, extend this out. So after you extend it, go up to raise brightness and you're going to set it to 1.7 and make sure to save your project as you go. I want the background a little bit darker, so I'm just going to tweak the tint to make it more darker. So after you add your edge rays, you're going to want to pre-compose both of these layers and you want to duplicate it again. Then for this part, Gaussian blur and add it to this layer. Then make it 60. I'd make it 60. Arrow down on the clip, go down to transform and scale it upward and move it to where it kind of looks like a shadow, and keep fixing it to your liking. So after I fix this to my liking, I'm going to turn my opacity down to around between 20 and 40. And you should have something like this. Pre-compose everything, then go to your effects and presets and look up motion tile. Then double click or drag it to your clip and set your output width to around 200 and do the same for the height as well. And turn on mirror edges. Then go to your effects and presets to look up wave warp. So then after that, you're going to want to go to sign, go to smooth noise, change the direction to 180 and set the width to around 330. For wave height, I'm going to set it to around 190, or I might do 200. Click U on your keyboard and go all the way to around where the mask ends. Then for wave speed, turn this down to 0 and put the wave height all the way down to 0 as well. Then move 2 frames behind the first keyframe and set this down to 0. Highlight every keyframe, right click on one of them, then go to keyframe assistant, easy ease, and edit the graph exactly how I make it. Now you can use speed graph or value graph. And if you don't like how speed graph looks, then you could edit it in value graph. And it should look something like this. So I'm going to extend my graphs more. And we have our glitch. So now that we have our glitch, what we're going to do is that we're going to hold Command Y or Control Y if you're on Windows, and we're going to create a black solid. Now go to the middle keyframe of wave height, hold Command Shift D or Control Shift D if you're on Windows, and delete this part and keep the first one. Now for the first one, click T on your keyboard and it should open up opacity. Then set your opacity to 0. Go to a few frames before the very first keyframe of the wave height begins. Then set a keyframe for opacity. Then go all the way to the end of this clip and set it down to around 30 or 40. I'm going to do 40. After that, highlight the keyframes, right click on one of them and easy ease them. Then follow my graph. And you should have something like this. So after that, go to Layer, New, and Adjustment Layer. Then go to your effects and presets and look up exposure. Go around here and shorten the adjustment layer. Oh my God. Make a first keyframe for exposure and set this to 0.8. I'm gonna do 0.9. I'm so indecisive. So anyways, go to your adjustment layer, click U, and move your keyframe to a few frames before the end of the wave height. And I'm gonna set this exposure to 0. Then after that, highlight both of the keyframes and easy ease them. And follow my exact graph. And you should have your exposure glow. Now for the blur, go to your effects and presets, Gaussian blur, for the ones who do not have the BCC plugin, and you could just add it here. For blurriness, you could set this to 30 and click U on your keyboard and move it to before the exposure ends and set this down to 0. Then highlight both of the keyframes and easy ease them. Then follow my exact graph. And you should have your exposure glow with blur. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want any tutorials on anything or help with anything After Effects related or Video Star related, make sure to comment it or DM it to me on Instagram, TikTok, etc. Or join my Discord where you can ping me and give me suggestions on video ideas or tutorial ideas. Love you all. Make sure you guys subscribe and I will see y'all in the next piece of content. Bye.